The Edible Bean School on RealAgriculture.com is brought to you by Hensel Co-op.
Hi, I'm Bernard Tobin. Welcome to the Edible Bean School. Today I'm a Huron Tractor catching up with Turner Sanford. Turner, how's it going?
Very well. How are you?
I'm doing well. Hey, I want to talk some combines. It is that time of year. It's been a busy season, real busy season for you. And, there's a lot of different approaches to combining edible beans. Earlier this fall, I was riding along in the John Deere X9 with Fred Van Osch of Van Osch Farms. And, let's talk about the X9. We've got one standing right behind us here. Are we seeing more and more of these machines rolling along in edible beans?
We do. So, yeah, within the last couple of years, we've seen an increase in X9s, in our area. Not only are they a gigantic capacity machine for, say, corn or wheat crops, right, where they can replace, say, 2 combines, or, we have some operations going from 3 combines to 2.
The Van Osches were down from
That's correct.
Yeah, 3 780s down to
2 X9s.
2 X9s.
That's right. So not only are they a capacity monster, they are a little gentler too with our edible bean crops, and we've had a really good experience with our edible bean growers who combine with our X9s.
Hey, let's talk about how this machine rolls through edibles. When you're discussing this combine, you said, hey, the conversation really starts at the front of the machine, at the header.
That's right. So, we can't fully utilize our combine or have it optimized without having a nice header paired to it, or a header that fits that combine. So when we talk about increased capacity with our X9s, they've got the ability to handle up to a 50-foot hinge draper. With that hinge draper, we've got a couple nice features included with that, to help us cut that crop more consistently and get it into the combine while minimizing losses.
What about downforce here now? What role does that play?
Yeah, so the nice thing about our hinge draper actually is we've got different downforce settings. So I guess to go back to the basics a bit, primarily we used to just have a solid frame header, and it used to have a flexible knife, and that's how you picked up beans or crop in the lower challenging areas. Now we've got a flexible knife with our hinge draper, as well as the frame actually hinges up and down. So you've got a center section, a left wing, and a right wing. We can apply downforce to either wing, actually, to help better follow challenging terrain or different contour to make sure or ensure that we are picking up and being able to cut those crops.
What about as, the crop moves through the feeder house here now? What are we looking at from that perspective?
Right, so crop moving through the feeder house, a big benefit to these X9 combines is there is an optional dust feeder house fan. So essentially what it's doing on the right hand side of the combine, it's extracting the dust from the feeder house and blowing it out the side, and it's giving our operators prime visibility of the knife. They're able to watch for foreign objects. If they need to tilt the header, we've got hydraulic fore-aft tilt to get a better knife angle on those crops. They can as well.
Turner, a big conversation here is the capacity of this machine. What about threshing and separating here? How does that sort of drive that capacity through this machine?
That's right. So as mentioned beforehand, our S700 series combines, they were a single rotor machine. Our X9s now have 2 smaller rotors, but much longer. So what we actually have is a 45% increase in threshing capacity, so we can get that grain out sooner, have it threshed sooner. But also in difficult conditions, we've got a larger area to get that job done. Our separating area actually is increased by 80%, so we have a ton of space to get that material other than grain separated from the actual crop we want in the bin itself. So ultimately, a 45% increase in threshing capacity, 80 in separating, and that's going to allow us to provide the best sample possible, to minimize that material other than grain, as well as minimize any loss.
Hey, let's talk about the auger here. It's so important, obviously, when it comes to edible beans, cracks, seed coats, and stuff like that. How important is that auger process in this machine?
Right. So when we talk about auger processes in the machine, we've actually gone from 4 what we used to call shoe bed augers that were underneath your threshing area. We've changed that now into a step pan. So when we talk about minimizing auger contact with these fragile edible beans, a big part there, shoveling the grain onto the shoe, we've now done that with a step pan. rather than shoe bed augers.
And let's talk about residue spread. I mean, a lot of times we're chasing this machine,
That's right.
you know, with a drill, trying to get some weed in. Important to have a good spread. Tell us about the spread on the back of this.
That's right. So, you know, as mentioned before, these combines are primarily paired with a 45 or 50-foot header up front. You know, we want to be able to maximize our spread pattern accurately and evenly to cover the full width so that we don't have any strips in the field. The residue system on this X9 can do just that, accurately and evenly spread up to 50 feet so that you can come in with your no-till drill after to plant your winter wheat or your winter cereal crops without having to do any tillage or managing that residue after the combine goes through the field.
Hey, final question. That's grain handling. That's, you know, getting this crop out of the machine onto a truck. We're trying to sort of reduce handling here, and this really helps.
That's right. So a lot of our growers typically would go from the combine straight into a wagon or straight into a truck rather than using a grain buggy. Like we mentioned, we want to minimize that auger contact with these crops. One thing that our X9 combine has now is a cross auger shutoff. So when you're unloading into a truck or into a wagon and you shut your unload auger off, so it'll actually shut off the cross augers in your grain tank and allow your unload auger to run for 3 or 4 seconds to ensure that it's fully empty. So a benefit to that, for the combine, is you know, less wear and tear. We're not trying to start up the auger full of heavy crop, right? So that can be damaging to the crop and not ideal for the combine. And then, you know, we're not extending the time that the crop is in that auger in the flighting.
Right. Well, good stuff, Turner. Really appreciate you taking some time for us on the Edible Bean School, talking about an X9 combine. I know we'll see more and more of these
we sure will.
in the years ahead, rolling through the crop. Appreciate your time. I know it's busy. We'll get you back to work.
Thank you, sir.